Hello everybody, how are you? I'm Shoshana Micel, and I thought it would just be a wonderful thing to do like a 5-minute clinic for shimmies. Now I know a lot of dancers, belly dancers have challenges with having a nice loose shimmy, so I figured that I would do a little tutorial. So I think that there's three major challenges that dancers have with shimmies, and that is that they're either too tight and your legs get fatigued, your muscles get fatigued, and they kind of stop, they freeze, and you lose, you literally lose the shimmy. And then there are ones that where you're shimmying, but they're kind of uneven, and you may have trouble like layering your shimmy. Let's say if you want to do a shimmy with a rib cage circle, okay? If there's an issue with your knees and ankles, this is going to be very difficult. And then the third one is actually just stamina with your shimmy. And that can be due to fatiguing other muscles that you don't really need to use so much in the shimmy, or muscle weakness or muscle tightness. So when it comes to getting your shimmies going, the best thing to do first of all is to warm up. So I would say marching in place, take step to step here where you're using your lateral and internal muscles, warming up the hips. Okay, and feet slightly apart, knees slightly bent, toes straight, so you're nice and stacked, and just going from side to side and front and back, and just getting those hips nice and loose. Around and around and around we go. Okay, and then a lot of times the hip flexors are very tight, so once you're warmed up, again, this is just a quick demonstration. You bring your leg up here, make sure that your quadriceps and your psoas muscle and your hip, well, your hip flexors is your psoas muscle, but a lot of the internal pelvic muscles can get very tight, especially if you have an office job, you're sitting all day. Those muscles can get tight. They can also atrophy. Okay, and then you want to stretch your hamstrings, so you can either sit on the floor. A quick way this is just bending your standing knee and toes up so you're flexed, and nice straight back over. You don't have to go all the way down, just straighten your back, butt to the opposite side, and you go until you feel a nice stretch. Okay, and you can even turn your foot out a little bit so it stretches a different belly of the hamstrings, and you can come in a little bit. So turn your toe in a little bit internally. Okay, so you just want to make sure to take time to do those stretches. And so when you think of shimmying, you might think of moving the hips, and that is the focus. Now, when I do that, I can feel a lot of tension in my lower back, a lot in my abdominals, not so much in my obliques, but my abdominis rectus, okay, here. And it's almost like my ab muscles are the things that are creating the release and contraction that's controlling my muscle, that's controlling my shimmy. And that may work for some dancers. If that does not work for you, then just try this, okay? So think about really getting not too low, but comfortable, where you feel like your knee joints and your ankle joints are in a comfortable place. So when you're bending, you're not going so low that you start to shake because you're fatiguing the muscles right away. And for your body, how your body is physiologically put together may be different for somebody else. So just go down till you feel comfortable, okay? And I'll go from the side here and just think about like a locomotive, like a train where it goes, it alternatingly goes front and back, front and back. So when one part of the locomotion is back here, the other one is front. And so the same thing with the knees, okay? But when your knee comes back, it doesn't lock back, okay? It just comes back a little bit because it's going to come up, around, and back to the front. So that's kind of what you want to think about. It's a very soft, very gentle, semi-straightening to the back and semi-bending to the front. So it's like a demi-plie. It's a very soft bending of the knee and a very soft straightening of the knee. You want to go unlocking the joint. So your stomach, for now, because when you're dancing, you're doing a shimmy, you do want to hold your stomach in. This is just as a serious dance as classical ballet or any other dance, okay? And so what I'm thinking about is softening my knees, okay? And then also my ankles. Is try not to hold tension in your ankles because the ankles are an extremely important part of the whole shimmy. If your ankle joint is not relaxed and not released, it's going to be very difficult for your knees. So if I'm really stressed in my feet and I try to do my knees, this is about as far as I'm going to get. And what's going to happen is that the energy is not going to the floor. It's coming back up into my body. It's going to go into my spine. And that's when you get all this upper body movement rather than having isolation, because Middle Eastern dance is all about isolation, especially when it comes to hip movements, isolating from your ribcage. So that is it for today. I think that that's a really good start. So just think about, warming up. You can do some of the warm-ups we did. You can even do some ankle circles, okay, to bring circulation, blood, which carries oxygen and nutrients and helps to lubricate your joints, okay? Get those ankles. The ankles and feet are extremely important in having a nice, relaxed, smooth shimmy, okay? So, I'm gonna shake it out. And I think what I'll do is I'll just make another video another time with the other challenge. So this was about having a smooth shimmy, not locking up on you, and don't go for speed yet. Just go for that smoothness, okay? Especially in the ankles and in the knees, okay? Nice and smooth and easy. And think about the energy going into the floor, okay? All the energy is going into the floor, not up into your body, because you want to be able to isolate, okay? And hopefully that helps a little bit. Next time we will do how to speed up your shimmy and keep that shimmy going, keep that evenness going, the smooth shimmy, okay? So making sure that one knee is not going further forward than the other. A lot of that has to do with just feeling yourself in space and time, so your depth perception. That's why it's really important to practice in front of the mirror, especially on a little bit of an angle here. So you can see that your knees are going back and forth in an even motion here, okay? Okay, anyway, thank you so much. I hope this helps you. And it was my honor, my pleasure to be able just to give a little bit back. Mwah!